Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this presentation with Ework, and a particularly warm welcome to Karin Scheel, who is the CEO, and Claes Reveil, who is the CFO of the company. Myself, my name is Simon Granat, and I'm the analyst at ABG that covers Ework. And for the coming 15 to 20 minutes, they will go through the company presentation, and then we will follow up with a smaller Q&A session. So with that said, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for the invitation to present here today. We are happy to tell you a bit about our company, Ework Group, the market, and why we believe that we are well positioned for the future. And after that, you will hear about trends and results from Claes. So, with that, Ework Group, we are a company that forms successful collaborations by bridging client needs in one end with independent professionals in the other end. And these are professionals with the right skills that tie into the needs of clients, our clients. And simply put, we connect great ideas with our clients, with brilliant minds, with professionals and our partners. And in this way, we contribute to accelerating growth and development for businesses, but also contribute to the personal development of professionals around the world. So in terms of numbers, we currently have above 13,000 professionals on assignment across 50 countries, where 19 outside of Europe. We are based with own operations in 5 countries, in Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark and Poland. We source and acquire talent across Europe and outside of Europe. And we'll get back to more about that because that's an important trend. The turnover for the last rolling 12 months amounts to 15.243 billion SEK. And our EBIT amounts to 170.6 million SEK. And this corresponds to a 7.48 earnings per share. So in our own operation, we have currently around 370 employees across the 5 locations. We are headquartered in Stockholm, and we are listed on the Stockholm Exchange since 2008. So these are some short facts about our company. On our business model, as said, we bridge clients and partners and professionals, and thereby we tie into 2 important mega trends in society. In one end, the future of business and society, which is driven mainly by digitalization, green transformation, and all the needs related to that in terms of skills and talent. On the other end, we tap into the future of work trends, where we see more and more people interested and willing to work independently, to choose when to work, where to work, and who to work for. And this is a clear trend. We see 2 important drivers here with professionals: remote work opportunities, and also the opportunity to work on a global basis to optimize the hourly rates for themselves. And again, our role is to bridge the needs of our clients with the opportunity to find the right talent in the market. And of course, the more we know about our clients' businesses, the closer we work to them, the better we can also support their businesses. And on the other end, the closer we work to our professionals, the more we understand about their personal drivers and interests, the better we can also create value for them. We currently have around 90,000 professionals in our global network that are active, meaning they visit our site, our digital platform, verama.com, at least once per month to update their profile or to interact with us or our clients through the digital platform. On the client side, we have over 500 active clients. So it's a broad client base and it's distributed across basically all industries. The markets that we serve are basically Sweden which is our main market. This is here we have our headquarter. This is here that Ework was founded. So of the 13,000 consultants and professionals that we have on assignment, more than 10,000 are working for clients in Sweden. And you can see the other countries as well. Norway, Poland, they passed more than 1,100 professionals on assignment in Q3, which is an important milestone. And Poland is the market that was added to the list of markets, the latest. We started up our business in Poland 7 years ago, and the company, as such, Ework Group, was founded in 2000. And we have been growing organically since the beginning. So this is the result of pure organic growth from the beginning. If we look at the industry segments where we operate, as I said, we basically have customers and clients in all industries. The public sector is important for us in Sweden and Norway. In total for the group, that accounts for around 17% of our professionals on assignment. In addition to that, in private sectors, we have manufacturing industries as an important segment, and other segments that are really, really key to us are telecom, for instance, infrastructure, engineering, and also retail and IT vendors. And IT vendors are both our partners and our clients. So we have an important role to play in supporting them. On the skills that we are focusing on and that we are looking for, our main area is in IT and all the skills related to digitalization. So system development, project management for typically IT and digitalization projects is really key to us. In addition to that, any expertise that can work with telecom development is also very important for us, as well as engineering and other skills related to infrastructure, IT infrastructure. As you can see, help desk and support, for instance, is a key area where we see many companies interested in outsourcing their activities and looking for skills and expertise. And we typically provide our professionals on an hourly basis, time and material basis, but we can also provide teams of professionals, or we can take on fixed price engagements, although that's a quite small part of what we do. Most of our professionals are working on a pure time and material basis. And our business model is based on pay when paid, meaning that we pay the professionals when we are paid by our clients. In order to help and facilitate early payments for professionals, and in particular for freelancers, this is of great interest, not the least in these days, in challenging times. We have a service that we call Pay Express, which allows professionals to get paid whenever they want to get paid at a certain fee, independently and regardless of when the client is paying for the bill that we send to them. So, to serve our clients and our professionals in the best way possible, we have a quite comprehensive service portfolio that we are constantly developing and upgrading. That service portfolio covers basically 3 parts: consulting services, managed services, and financial services. And consulting services is the part that holds the services that we provide to clients when they look for a professional or a team of professionals or a project. And here we are currently working our way through an updated portfolio to segment our services, meaning that we can be, for our clients, a broker. That's not typically what we are aiming to be, but we can be that. And that's a service that is developing into a digital service that we call e-broker. And this is tapping into the digital trend, where we see more and more clients interested and also capable to find talents through a digital platform. And our digital platform is called Verama. So this is a service that we can provide. Our experience, though, is that many clients need assistance and help in finding the right skills. So the next layer of services in this area is what we call consulting provider. That's when we can help and assist our clients in finding the best consultants for their needs. It can be a combination of an e-broker as a bottom platform and adding the consulting provider services on top of it. On top of that, we are now adding something we call expert provider, and you can see it all summarized in this slide. The expert provider is when we go out in the global market to find the best experts in any field. And fields where we see great interest for these services currently is technologies like Java specialists, like cloud specialists. It can also be ERP specialists or other technologies where we search on a global basis to find the best talent for our clients. In addition to this, we are adding also services, for instance, related to background controls, security checks, and this is also an area where we see a growing interest among many clients, both in public sector and in private sector. Managed services are the services where we basically take on the full responsibility on behalf of a client to manage the complete sourcing and talent acquisition into an organization. And this can be either pure temporary workforce, what we call professionals or freelancers, or a combination of that and permanent workforce where we can help them recruit talent into their organizations. And when we recruit, we call that RPO, that's recruitment process outsourcing. We take on the responsibility to find talent to our clients' organizations. And here we typically work with CXOs, like CIOs, CHROs, and procurement directors that need help and assistance in finding talent, but also managing their entire talent pool and making sure that they are compliant with all the legislation that surrounds workforce today. And finally, financial services are the services that we add on to our consulting services and managed services, like, for instance, Pay Express, as I mentioned, to allow professionals to get paid whenever they want to get paid, but also insurance, liability insurance for typically freelancers who need to have a certain amount and level of insurance in their engagements. It can also be payrolling activities and loss coverage, new services that we are now adding in response to client needs and new updated legislation in countries and in the markets. So a very comprehensive portfolio that is currently being updated with a number of interesting services. I just want to mention finally the blue marked services here that are services intended for professionals and partners, where we also add new components to support them, for instance, in career planning, personal development, training activities, and so on. So a lot of activity going on here, and also with, of course, the development of our digital platform, Verama, which forms the platform for all activities and all the deliveries we do of services in our portfolio. So, to summarize, we've been in the market for 22 years. We are leading in our industry. We have a broad client base. We have a great wide network of partners and professionals. And thereby, we can say that we know how these things work. We have the capabilities needed in terms of services to be able to provide good value to clients, partners and professionals, which means good value also to Ework and our investors. And by constantly developing and adapting to new opportunities and new needs, we are also confident that we are well positioned for any needs and opportunities in the future, both today, tomorrow and beyond that. So with that, I'd like to hand over to Claes.
Thank you, Karin. So I will just briefly summarize our current performance and also our Q3 report. And giving some highlights on that, starting with the order intake. So in this period of high macroeconomic uncertainty, as we know, our order intake grew 18%. We see that the demand and specifically the client request that we get remained on a high level in that quarter, and that contributed to the increased order intake. We also see that the trend where we sign longer contracts continued in the quarter and contributed to the increase. We note that, and very positively, that also that the profitability of those orders booked was also improving and increasing. So that's some of the highlights on our order situation. The revenue in Q3 increased 24% to 3,482 million. The need for expertise is great, and we have gained increased trust from our clients, so that we can see increased volume growth. Volumes in terms of billed hours, and that's how we measure it, billed hours to our clients, increased year-on-year 17% in the quarter. We also see that the average consulting fees are increasing, and that contributed with 6 percentage points to the revenue growth. During the quarter, we saw growth on all our markets, and it is our view that we continue to take market share to the benefits of all our stakeholders. The quarter's operating profit almost doubled, so strong performance. Important for that was the underlying positive profitability trend of our core business, as Karin spoke about. But also important was the development of our service portfolio, more specifically the growth of services to Ework service and Pay Express that contributed to the increased earnings. But not least important in this quarter was that our Ework's own cost as a percentage of revenue decreased compared to 2021 level, and the rate of cost increase was also lower than the volume increase. So the third quarter was strong for us, and it really constituted the true scaling of our business, and therefore also an improved operating margin. And then we move to... And speaking of the operating margin then, one can perceive that as low, but that is mainly explained by our business model inherent to that, and the important thing is the development of the same. And in Q3, the development was positive. We landed on 132 basis points, and that compares to the 83 basis points of last year. And even adjusted for some positive, not fully reoccurring items, we can say, in that quarter, the operating margin is clearly higher than it was last year. And it is this development of increased trust from our stakeholders, service development, and scaling of our business that Karin, myself, and the whole of Ework is determined to continue. Yeah, so we come to the end of the presentation. We were pleased to present a strong Q3 report and also see the great response it received from the market. We will release our Q4 report on February the 9th, and obviously hope to see as many of you as possible there at 1 o'clock. But we know that you all have busy schedules those days, and we will also provide a recording on our website from the presentation done in Swedish, so that as many of you as possible can partake in that. Thank you from us, and I think we now open up for questions, Simon.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, both Karin and Claes, for the presentation. Let's continue, and I'd like to stay on the demand side of your business. Is it fair to assume that customers increasingly seek consultants from relatively low-cost countries? And thereby, given that you are one or the market leader in Sweden within this space, they're also sourced from many countries. Are you benefiting from this?
Yes, that's a good question. During the second quarter of this year, we established a remote sourcing center in Poland, in Warsaw. And this was in response to increasing demands from clients to find talent in Eastern Europe, but it quickly turned out that they were not just requesting talent from Eastern Europe, but also from anywhere basically in the world. So we have typically requests from global clients in Asia, can be Southern Europe, can be anywhere basically. And we try to, of course, help and support them to the best possible extent. And our remote sourcing center is now our hub to do that.
And you recently finished, or at least reduced, investments in your product portfolio. You mentioned some of the comprehensiveness that you now have. Could you talk just in brief, what have you made over the past few years in terms of investments in the platform? Just in brief.
Yeah, so I can start off a bit. So we've been investing in a digital platform called Verama. And Verama consists of a number of different components. One is a VMS system, vendor management system, that we provide to clients who need support for managing their temporary workforce. We can provide that as a standalone software as a service, or we package it, bundle it together with our managed services and bring it to clients. And again, this development was in response to markets and clear client need to bring that to them. Another module is what we call supplier and client portal. This is where we post and publish all assignments from our clients and where professionals can post and publish their profiles. So this is in a way the platform for the e-broker that I mentioned before. And then there is a third component, which is for our internal use, where we've used the system to support our delivery of services. That's what we call an ATS system. So we've been developing all three parts over the past years. Verama was launched in 2019, but before that, of course, a lot of hours were spent developing these components.
Thank you. And then lots of discussion currently is, of course, on the demand side. And looking at your year-to-date performance, it has certainly been strong numbers that you've been reporting. Could you mention anything on what you're seeing in the current market as of November or December here, and also speaking a little bit on the end sectors into 2023?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, there is a skills shortage. There is a need for skills related to important activities in digitalization, green transformation, also development of our infrastructure in society. That's what we tap into. And we see great need for the skills that we are focusing on and the areas where we are active. And that demand continues despite increasing uncertainty in the global world and in the Northern Europe region where we operate mainly. We see, of course, a bit of a mixed picture across industries. We've been working hard during this year to really close as many public sector frame agreements as possible in Sweden and Norway. And we've been quite successful in doing so, which to us is important because it creates a solid foundation for the future. In addition to this, as I mentioned, industry manufacturing is an important industry. Here it's a mixed picture. Also in the automotive industry, if we drill down in industry, we also get a mixed picture. There are clearly important projects taking place related to digitalization and the green transformation, meaning that we see clients that cannot afford to stop their projects because it's strategically important. But we also see in some places that some activities are being halted due to uncertainty. It doesn't mean that any activities are stopped, but really that they really consider and they use us for guidance and advice to a greater extent than we've seen in the beginning of the year. So it's a bit of a mixed picture, and we would probably expect that continues for still a few months yet. But the important thing for our business is that we have a good and solid mix of activities across different industries, which gives to us a certain level of resilience, you can say, and stability in our business.
And I believe that resilience was also shown in 2020. Time flies, and we are unfortunately now out of time. But thank you so much for attending here today. I'm looking forward to speaking to you again in conjunction with the Q4 report.
Thank you so much.
For listening.
Thank you.